All right, VeeFam, we are back with another very special episode of the VeeFam sessions. We are here with head of social strategy, Optimistic Otter, Maxi, and I think the participant in the first ever VeeFriends Uno game. Is that true?
I didn't participate in it, but I witnessed it. I watched it.
Gotcha. All right. I saw a picture. I just wanted to, for clarity, for historical reference. We're here with Dowds, Tyler Dowdle. Tyler, thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rob. I really appreciate you having me. I'm really excited to jam on everything VeeFriends.
Awesome. So before we start, can you just give us like a 55-second clip notes of a little bit about you pre-NFTs?
Sure. So my name is Tyler Dowdle. I'm 25. I'm from upstate New York. Growing up, I was like a lifelong athlete. I played 3 sports in high school. I played football, baseball, and basketball. And then I went to Dickinson College, this like kind of small school in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, in like southern PA, and played 4 years of college football there. So sports have always been a really big part of my life. I've always kind of stuck around the Northeast. In college, I was able to travel a bit to Europe. I did a semester in Italy, actually, which was really cool. But other than that, I've been basically in the Northeast my whole life. I've always been like really intrigued with social media marketing. So of course, like flocking to Gary's content was a supernatural kind of connection for me. So I've been following Gary for 6 or 7 years. And he was kind of a really big inspiration for me of even getting into social media marketing. And he kind of taught me, just through his content on how to do it. So then when VeeFriends launched, I was actually a little bit hesitant when VeeFriends launched because I just wasn't fully bought into the concept of NFTs yet. I hadn't done any research. So I was one of those people who was very quick to say no. And then about a week before VeeFriends launched, I did a little bit more research on NFTs. And I knew that if I did enter NFTs, then doing it with a project led by Gary would be the most natural fit for me.
Mm-hmm. So going back, thanks for sharing all that. Going back a little bit, do you remember the first piece of content or the first time that Gary got on your radar?
I don't remember. I remember the first time I ever saw Gary. I don't remember the specific thing he was saying. I can picture it in my head. He's wearing like his blue zip up hoodie that he would always wear like to airports, I think. And I think he's standing by like outside this park or like this dumpster, and he's going on like this like hardcore rant about like stop living your life for other people's validation. Like just do what makes you happy. But for me, actually, what drew me to Gary's content wasn't so much the emotional intelligence, like the different traits that he talks about so much now. It was actually like I really just enjoyed his content for the technical, like social media strategies that he had and like his different business insights. I really used it like to really just like learn from him and like hear all the different stories, and like I would listen to and appreciate like the different things where he would talk about accountability and patience and happiness. But when I started listening to his content, I was really just looking for like tell me the best Facebook strategy like for organic reach on Facebook.
Got it.
And trying to like learn from that. And then the more that I listened to it, like the more I just began to appreciate like who he is as a person and all the different things that he preaches.
So you were a student, you were a social media student through him. Awesome. So, flash forward, you get consumed by his content. So you're listening to the podcast, you're checking him out on YouTube, you're doing all the things that normal Gary people do.
Yeah. A lot of it was through podcasts, actually.
Okay.
And then, some of his YouTube content I would watch. And for me, like all of his like different daily vlogs, like I found it obviously really intriguing just because of awesome life that he lives. But also was trying to hear like the different tidbits where you get like a 10-second clip from a meeting where he's giving some advice, like some practical Instagram advice to an up and coming artist or something like that.
Is there, before we head into the VeeFriends, while we're on social media, is there a particular tip or Garyism surrounding social media that's like gold in your work with VeeFriends doing social? Like, is there one little tip that is above all else, or you still find yourself using every day?
Yeah, for sure. And it's something it's like I'm ever working on. Actually, when I started working at VeeFriends, within like the first like couple of days, our president Andy Kranak we had a meeting just about social, and he had like worked this into what he was talking about, like super like nonchalant, but he just said like don't judge yourself, like just keep giving yourself at bats, which like we can go a whole lot deeper on, but it's basically like one, like if your post doesn't perform, like don't judge yourself. Like you thought you did the best you could. You like put the best piece that you thought out. That you put out the best piece out there that you thought. But also like don't judge yourself in the creation process. Where like don't be so quick to shoot down an idea. Where like your opinion is only one opinion. Like you might put it out and everyone might love it, but you didn't like it. And we've seen posts like that where we feel okay about it and we put it out and it does really well. And then we see the flip side where we feel really, really good about it and it doesn't perform as well. So just like understanding that, that like you're just making the best decisions that you can and like to keep moving and like keep that pace, and don't judge yourself along the way.
I love that. That's so important. No matter how often like that positivity and Gary's messages are in your ear, like when you're in it and you're making the content, you're editing and you're about to press, send or post, whatever, it's tough not to have, a little bit of that going through. Thank you for sharing that. So going back to May 5th-ish, 2021, you're doing some research. You're not in NFT land yet. You didn't mint anything prior, but you did your research on VeeFriends and you said, I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah.
And I know there's a story to be told. Do you want to give, what was the first, what did you mint, or what was your first VeeFriend that you acquired?
Yeah. So I like got into like the whole, I know like people were in the Discord like a month or a couple of weeks before VeeFriends launched. I got into VeeFriends like late, like before the mint. So it was still early, but late in that pre-mint process where I didn't know like any of the characters that Gary had created. So for me, like when, so I actually, and a funny little story is like, if VeeFriends didn't get delayed, then I wouldn't have been able to mint because I had been so late in the process where like I needed the funds to clear in Coinbase so that like to transfer to MetaMask to be able to mint. So like that week delay, like bought me enough time to actually be able to mint VeeFriends, which.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. But so going into the mint, I didn't have a ton of context on like who the top characters were going to be. I obviously knew a lot about Gary and the stuff that he preaches. But like, I didn't know like that the Lucky Black Cat was going to be like this really, really cool character. Or
right.
I remember I was in the Discord and just hanging out on there like a couple of days before mint, and Gary dropped a little like sneak peek of the Patient Pig. So I was like, oh, that like
I remember that.
I didn't know about Patient Panda at the time. So I went into it with fresh eyes, and then so I ended up minting the Optimistic Otter, a core otter that was like kind of all I could scrap together last minute ETH wise was enough for a core. The Dutch auction came down within my range, which I was excited about. So that was my first ever NFT and first VeeFriend, and always has been like my favorite character.
I love it, and you even tweeted that May 28th, 2022, you tweeted out, optimism is a strategy. My fave character since day one of VeeFriends. New profile pic, NFT by VF Series 2, Optimistic Otter. I love that. I love that optimism is a strategy part. Like it's a choice. Like,
Yeah,
and that's how you're absolutely, that's how you're navigating your world. So I feel you like you probably have told this story many times, but I feel at the same time I think it's an important part of your story, and I think it's a story that's going to help a lot of people, especially from where you're sitting now. Especially that. So you ended up losing a couple. I don't want to misquote, two.
Yep.
Tokens, right? Okay. Can you kind of give us the cliff notes on what happened? Because I think, the little context I do know about you, it's a really crucial part to your story.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually ended up minting. So when VeeFriends was sitting at the floor for like the next like week or so after launch, I scrapped together enough ETH and I actually minted a very rare cockatoo. And then I sold that like a couple of days later for like 2x of profit. I was all pumped about it. But like obviously it's low compared to all the prices now. But then I had been trading a bit with VeeFriends. So I had two cores. I had the otter that I minted, and then I had a core tidy troll. And then I was like, all right, I have these two cores. Let me try to trade both of these for maybe an epic or a nice very rare. I had started to really learn all about the characters and the different kind of hierarchy that was being built on the secondary market. So I agreed to a trade with the guy he had an epic, and I was going to trade him my two cores for an epic. He was going to throw in some ETH. So I was pumped about that. And he said that at this time, like I didn't know about NFT Trader or these different safe trading platforms. So he said, I don't want to do a direct trade. Like I don't know you. I don't know if I can trust you. I was like, oh yeah, me either. Like let's figure out a different way. So he suggested that we use a member of the VeeFriends team as a middleman to facilitate the trade. And then I got put in a group chat with someone who was impersonating Andy Krenak, the president. And obviously, like, in hindsight, there's so many things that should have been red flags on, why
right.
Facilitating a trade. But I just got blinded by the greed and by the excitement of the good deal, and sent them my two cores, and then the Discord group chat disappeared, and like they were nowhere to be found. I couldn't message them anywhere. My tokens were just gone. And then
like the bottom just fell out. Like you.
Yeah, my heart just sank.
Yeah.
And like for a few different reasons. One, like obviously the financial side of it hurts a lot. It's a lot of money to put in and just have nothing to show for it. But also just like emotionally, I like had become so attached to like the VeeFriends community, and like being a holder was really, really exciting. So like that feeling of losing that was also tough.
I can't even imagine. So what did you do? Like obviously they're gone. You realize they're gone, but like you had a lot of people could say, fuck it all. Like I'm done. Like,
yeah. And I had considered that. So I took probably 2 to 3 weeks of really trying to think of like, what's my next move here? Or like, if I'm done with NFTs, fuck this, like NFTs are a scam. Like I just lost all this money. But then this is when the VeeFriends market is like kind of stagnant, sitting around like 4 ETH. But I had developed such a high level understanding of the characters where I was like, I feel like I can buy a VeeFriend and at least flip maybe once or twice to make up for some of the money that I had lost. I was hoping to, maybe make up 30% if possible, just by flipping. So I bought a core meticulous magpie. I flipped it a couple of days later for like a 0.6 ETH profit. And then from there, I just like kind of kept going with flipping. And I was taking everything that I got from the previous flip and putting it into the next one. So I wasn't really taking any money out, which is not the best and most responsible strategy.
Right. So, and if anyone is listening, if you go to Tyler's Twitter, on his pinned post, he has an Instagram video that VeeFriends posted on, I don't know if this is the actual date you put it out, but September 2nd, 2021, they put out your Instagram video with all of your flips. And at the surface, like, it's awesome. Like, you talk about how you went from a meticulous magpie to flipping, trading all the way up, 7, 8, 9, whatever, how many transactions into a hangout hawk, which turns into a gift go. Like, so you went from literally the dirt all the way to, like, I mean, what's better than a gift go? But what you have to understand the context of, like, you were literally at rock bottom, like, you got scammed, like, in a place where a lot of people I know feel safe, like the VeeFriends, like, yes. And like, this podcast is all about community. Like, it's a wonderful place, the most amazing people, but you still have to have, your guard up. Like, there's still people that can just come in and out of that Discord with no regard for your feelings, your finances, anything. So you went through that. And then like we said in that tweet, optimism is a strategy. You chose that and just did these amazing flips. So, like, that must've just been like a rebirth. Like, walk me through, like, when you reflected on all that you've done.
Yeah, it was an awesome feeling. And like, when I had gotten, so before I got the Hang on Hawk, I think I gotten a bubblegum Witty Weasel, which was like, so I gone from like core to spectacular. So that alone I was like super excited about. And then I really took a step back and realized, like, wow, like, getting scammed like so early on was like one of the best things that could have happened to me in Web3, where like, it was such an important lesson for me to learn, like, such an important realization that everything can be gone with the snap of a finger and there's no way to get it back. And also just more of a more macro lesson of, like, sometimes the worst things that can happen to you turn out to be the best things that can happen to you. And there's ways to turn negatives into positives.
I love that. It's so true. Like, that's actually an interesting question. Like, would you have done all that had that have not happened?
Totally.
So I'm very interested in what happened. So we said September 2nd, VeeFriends puts that on their Instagram. October 1st, 2021. A lot of people in this community know that as the Big Christie's auction day.
Yeah.
But that turns into T Dowd's day because you tweet out, you put out a whole thread. I'm so excited to announce that starting next week, I'm going full time in sorry, I don't want to misquote. It got cut off here. I'm going full time into NFTs with a project that sparked a passion I didn't know existed. I'll be joining the social media team at VeeFriends and can't wait to get rolling. And, you go on for a few tweets in the thread. What happened in that month? So you go from just a member of the community, hit rock bottom, you're coming up, now you're on the team.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was crazy timing because while I was flipping, I think it was like before I had gotten the spectacular before, but I hadn't got the gift go yet. That like VeeFriends posted a job position on their Twitter for a community manager role. And then, so I applied for that. I was super excited to hear that I even got an interview for it. And then I was still like kind of flipping like throughout this process. And then I got in the gift goat, I interviewed, and then obviously, so while I'm interviewing, I had this kind of cool story that helps me stand out from the crowd in addition to just some social media experience. And
you're featured on their social media, of course.
Yeah. And this was, I think, so before the job had been posted, I was just telling someone the story in the Discord, and Andy Kranak was in the Discord and he read it. He's like, that's super cool. Like, he DM'd me and said, like, could you just record a video explaining like kind of your whole process? I was like, sure, like they'll use it in content, like that'll be cool. And then kind of while they're making this video while their editing team is chopping it up, because I submitted this like super long video. The job got posted, I applied, interviewed for it, and then I think in the last round of interviews, which was actually with Andy, like one of the last questions, I was like, how's it coming like on that video? And he was like, oh, I gotta hit up the creator who's making it. And then I think like the next day or so, like they had posted it. And then like a day or two after is when I got the job offer. So it was like,
wow,
everything all at once. Was
what a series of events.
Yeah. And that was like just such an exciting moment for me of, you know, going from scam to, you know, just the flipping was something that I was really proud of and excited about. And then the job was just a dream come true.
I bet. And very timely now, because I'm sure there's a trillion people that have applied in the last 3 weeks for one of those few roles. So does Andy know that the fake Andy was part of your trade?
I think he does. But unfortunately, there's not much he can do about it.
No, I just as like a ha-ha, like back, now that we can look back on with some time, and obviously some great things have happened from it. That's just interesting to me. So you're on the team, like you go from just, I don't want to say regular old community member, but just, a holder, active in the community. You start there. And so how was that transition like?
It was really exciting for me. Like, one, just from being a really big VeeFriends fan to, you get to look under the hood, you get to see, how stuff is made, how their content team runs. For me, it was really cool. One, from, just a VeeFriends fan perspective, and then also just from a big fan of what Gary has built, like at VaynerMedia, with how fast they move, and with Team Gary, how they handle his content. So for me, it was cool to even see like just how they operate and how a piece of content goes from, the ideation process to actually getting posted is really cool.
And are you working on the premises there, or are you remote?
I am remote. Yep.
When you first get on?
Yep. I've gone into the office.
You're remote.
I live like a few hours from the office.
Gotcha.
In Hudson Yards, but mainly remote.
So was there a thing that happened, or maybe a moment that was like super surprising, like aha moment for you in the early days, before you were because whenever you start any new job, there's kind of like that period where like, all right, I'm new, like they're still feeling me out, I'm still learning everything. Was there anything that stood out?
A funny little story is like the first time I ever got on a call with Gary and like got to meet him. I had been working for VeeFriends for maybe a few days, and Andy DM'd me and it was like, "Yo, what are you up to?" And I was like, just like going through this like onboarding deck or whatever it was. And he just sends me like a meeting link, and he's like, "Hop on and like come say hi to G." So I hop on, and Gary, like, he's in like the middle of his like ideation brainstorming process. I think at this time he's ideating on book games and like how he wants to do it, how he wants to tie in just art and like that kind of where we had the just art bundles, where if you collected all of like the different the Royal Flush or whatever, you got to claim the physical just art piece. So he was ideating on that. And I like hopped on the call, and he immediately was like, "Tyler, do you mind like just checking like how many just arts I hold in my Goo wallet?" And I was like, so he just like went right into it. Like we'd been working together for months and months.
Wow. Just full on trust.
Yeah. And you just like kind of just started off running, which was cool. And then, but he's obviously been super welcoming, and I got to meet him and talk to him a few different times. And he's always just asking like, how's everything going? How are you enjoying it? Like, is there anything that you need? Which is really great.
That's awesome. I mean, that just must have been like a surreal, like pinch yourself moment, like, or not moment, there's probably a whole bunch of them. So one of my questions was going to be, was there a moment that you felt like, all right, like I'm in the team now, but it sounds like that was it.
Yeah, that was it. Where it was just like I was thrown in there, like got to say hi to him, and it was like, all right, like can you grab this for me, like, and obviously you always want to deliver if when he asks for anything. I'm trying to think of other moments, different launches that we've had. He's always like really involved, obviously, in like we call it like a war room, like when we're about to launch something. We have the whole team like hands on deck, and he's always involved. So he would always like rely on me to give him feedback, like what's the Discord saying, what's Twitter saying, what are some issues, like what are things we can do.
So you're getting the pulse on a lot of what's happening.
Not just me, but a lot of the other team members. But it was really cool, like that he's taking feedback from everybody. Like I think I'd been working for VeeFriends for 2 weeks maybe, and we had like just like one big group chat basically with the whole team, because we were small at this time. We still are small, but smaller. And he had asked for something, and I like had suggested it, and he like listened to it. It was like, oh, good idea. Like, let's do that. So he's always like, no matter if you're the new guy or you had been there for 5 years, like every idea is a good idea. And all input is valid.
Do you remember what it was?
I do remember what it was. I'm trying to think. It was the name, one of the new characters, actually. He was like, we don't have this character, do we? And I was like, no. But like this trait, this name, I won't say which character it is, but he said, like, I said, like, this trait, this name, like, has a nice ring to it. And he was like, I agree. Let's set that in motion for Series 2.
I love that. That must just feel so amazing, like to have your input taken and appreciated from the highest source.
Yeah, exciting.
So what a journey. I as someone that's kind of just been on one side of the fence, and I don't even think it's like a fence, because like you guys are in the community, like, you're in the spaces, you're in the you're just in it with everyone else. Like you're a holder just like us. Is there a line from your perspective, or is it just kind of an understanding, like this is what's going on behind closed doors, like, and it's going to stay here? Is there like a fine line, or is it just kind of on your guys' judgment with you and Adam, those guys, like what to say, not to say? Is it your judgment, or is there like, this is kind of like this level of importance, or
Yeah, I think we all have a pretty good understanding of what is public information and what is like internal information. And obviously, like we keep a lot of things close to the chest for a multitude of reasons, whether it's legal reasons with a potential collab partner, or just things are in development. We're not ready to share it yet. We know it'll lead to more questions than we're ready to give information for. So I think everyone just kind of has an idea. So there's some things where it's like please don't share this. Like this is like very important information. But other than that, I think everyone just has a good feel for what can be shared and what can't, and what's already been said, what aligns with our goals and our brand.
I love that. And it must be so fun for you guys, because you're so in the community, but like when he goes like cryptic Gary and is really having fun with everyone, and you guys kind of know what's on the other side, and I'm sure people are pulling on you for alpha, but at the same time, that must be really fun. And I'm thinking about like, the week leading up to like that March 7th, like blog post, and all of that stuff was happening with like, this is what Series 2 is going to look like. This is what you're getting. This is what, was happening with the gift codes. Like that was just a crazy time, like with so much going on. And there was a lot of, Gary pumping, and, obviously with book games, there's cryptic messages all the time. So that just must be super fun for you guys. Is he cryptic at all with you guys, or is it just pretty much like to the point, like this is what's happening?
He certainly can be. And there's sometimes
so he teases internal too.
Yeah, there's sometimes where he hints something and like I have no idea what he's hinting. Where it might be just something that he just thought of and he's like, oh wait, let's do this. Like, let me let people know. That like hasn't even been circled around the company yet, or is like a need to know basis kind of thing. But then obviously like there's other things like Series 2, I was really excited to have people see the art because like there was, before we announced like what Series 2 was, there was so much different speculation on what Series 2 would look like, what like kind of container it would live in. And I had seen like some of the mock-ups for some of the different characters for the Series 2 art, which was super exciting to finally be able to reveal. And like I'm someone who always is really interested in what the community's saying. Like even as an employee and also just as, you know, a fan of the project, I'm always reading every Discord room, trying to see, trying to get just a feel for the pulse on everything.
Sure.
So for that,
and I know it was just that pre-reveal time, like there was so much speculation but it was fun. Like it was just really fun. And, you know, just to tease out a lot of different hypotheticals but then to see it was amazing. So I'm going to just shout out some like moments in time. And if you want to just kind of shout, like, you know, the moment where you first heard about it. I don't know if you're able to dox, like if it was someone's idea, like I don't want to put any pressure. So like whatever first comes to your head. So the series, the How to Get an NFT series with you and May and Adam and all those, like what is the origin of that? Or first time you heard like this is what we're doing?
That was Gary. It was Gary sending it in our group of like, hey, I want to do this. I want to educate as many people as we can about NFTs and try to onboard as many new people into Web3 as we can. So we went really hard with that. We did like, I think 6 sessions a week. He was aiming for 8 sessions a week. So yeah, that started with him and we basically built out a plan from there.
I love it. I think that was so huge and just the blueprint for what everyone should do. Education first on all of those topics. So you guys did a fantastic job with that. And I know you probably heard this, but you know, just the public viewpoint of it was that it was just very well done.
Thank you.
The first time you saw or heard about the pre-reveal game for V2.
Yeah, when did I first hear about this? I knew that we had talked about doing a pre-reveal game maybe like a month or two before it was put into motion. I probably had played the first beta maybe 3 weeks before Series 2 launched, where I got to actually, you know, play around with it, try to break it basically, because we're still in beta mode, so we're trying to work out any bugs or things that can be improved. And I was super excited for people to see that because I think that's something, another just little unique thing that not too many people are doing.
Totally. And I saw you tweeted that your high score was 524. Is there anyone on the team that can top that?
I don't think so. I think I might have the high score of the team. Corso has gotten really close. Corso got like a little over 500, I think, but like
that's a solid score. I mean, 524 is a real score there. So kudos to you for that. The compete and collect cards. Everyone that mints a V2 gets this set or gets a pack.
Yeah, for this, I didn't know about this actually until pretty close to launch. When we had started like just building out different content for it. There were some different things that we were playing with for Series 2 and then the compete and collect came out and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like, especially with Uno, it kind of, it had some more with like our kind of zero cool Uno and now compete and collect, just supply wise. It kind of adds a little bit more robust nature to the VeeFriends like kind of card ecosystem.
That makes a lot of sense. I never thought of them as a whole kind of sector, but it's very true. And lastly, the Snoop Dogg VCon ticket collab?
Yeah, this I actually is another one that I didn't find out. I found out like I had heard rumors that we were going to do something with Snoop, and I think it's been in the works for a good amount of time, and we've just been really trying to iron out like what does it actually look like? What's the best way to do this? So at VCon, it was like really like a confirmation for me, but I knew that we were collabing with Snoop. I just didn't know what it was going to look like.
Got it. So, and that brings us to VCon. You obviously were in the know about a lot, but what was, when you were there or maybe after, what was your biggest, what was one of your biggest takeaways about from a team perspective, like how the team handled it and put it on, but also as a member of the community and what you saw and felt through talking to the people in the community?
Yeah, I think from a community standpoint, you really got to see firsthand just at how the VeeFriends ideologies can trickle down into the community, like where everyone was just so genuinely nice and like kind and just like was trying to be a nice person. I think like it was so obvious, and that was a lot of the feedback that I know Gary got from all the different speakers and celebrities that were there. It was just like everyone here is just so nice, and like it was just good vibes all around. And then from a team standpoint, you know, there's a ton of work that goes into that behind the scenes. So just really seeing how all the different moving pieces were coming together, and how everyone just kind of played their role and did everything that they could to put on this massive event.
Yeah, I love that you say that, the trickle down, because, you know, we're seeing all the great things you guys are doing. We know Gary just from his content. But, you know, you're waiting, I'm just waiting, meeting people, and I'm meeting the team, and you're just kind of waiting for that moment where like someone slips up and like shows like a level of like, all right, I don't need to be doing this, or like just anything that like shows like that you're not 100% bubbly and nice all the time. But it just never happened. Like the bar was so high, and everyone just exceeded expectations, just like taking pictures and listening to stories. And it was just so much, and the days were, I'm sure, so long for you guys, but like, I just have to share that because that's the consensus from so many people I talked to. Like, you guys were just top shelf, and obviously it's got to come from the top. So kudos to you guys from that. It just must be like, obviously everybody wants to work for VeeFriends for a multitude of reasons, but the people, I'm sure, are such a huge driver of that.
Yeah. It's everyone that works here is a joy to work with. And, you know, I work super close with May and Andy and our creative team. And, you know, for me, it's a blast to even just be able to learn from May and Andy and their years and years of experience in content and everything that they do. But everyone's super helpful. They know their role, but they're not willing to step outside of it and help somebody else, which I think is really important.
I love it. It's such a wonderful community, and that's kind of the huge reason I'm doing this project, to kind of highlight people and stories of what's happening within this little ecosystem. So, what does the word community mean to you?
What does the word community mean to me? I mean, it's everything. It's kind of seeing our values in the real world of like our community. Like, how does our community act towards others and towards other communities? How is our relationship with our community? Do they feel that we're listening to them and that their opinions are valued? So for us, it's everything. It's like we're always listening to their feedback. We're always trying to look out for their best interests and formulate ways, you know, based on their feedback to improve in the future. So it's the most important part of VeeFriends.
I love that. And you've been you've been in that place where you said it yourself, you didn't have enough ETH to get in at the beginning. What would you, someone that's been both in those shoes and, you're on the team, what do you tell someone right now that can't afford to get in to this project, but wants to?
Yeah, I would say one, I think Gary said this, but I'll echo it of like, you don't need to own a VeeFriends to be a part of the VeeFriends community. Like if you're living your day and you're being kind to people and grateful for what you have and being empathetic towards others and just trying to be the bigger person, then you're already in the VeeFriends community. Like you don't need to buy anything. You don't need to own a super dope tie-dye hoodie to be in the VeeFriends community. But if that's your goal, like you really want to have that ownership, then just stay patient and stay responsible. VeeFriends will be here for a long, long time. We'll be here when you're ready. So just keep doing, live within your means, but keep doing what you're doing or what you can to, be able to afford that kind of purchase where it's not putting you in a bad spot. So you don't need to own a VeeFriend to be a VeeFriend, but if that's your goal, then just stay patient. Don't judge yourself for not owning one. The FOMO is super hard to resist, and it takes discipline, but just don't let yourself fall into that trap.
Fantastic. And everything happens in due time. A question I like to ask people that come on this podcast, obviously you are, all about the optimistic otter. You showed how optimism can get you from a really bad place to, the apex. But so you're obviously very optimistic. What character do you feel like you need to spend more time with?
That's a good question. I would say, which character do you spend more time with? I think the organized ostrich I can definitely spend some more time with, where we always have so much going on. Just really trying to stay productive and organized and manage my time the best I can is something that I've been trying to focus on and really work through. In different meetings, I'm taking notes all day, but then I need to go back through and highlight the key takeaways from those or the key action items, the things that need to get done. So the organized ostrich is someone that I could learn from for sure.
I love that. And I'm with you. That's probably my number one as well. Amazing. So are you, I imagine you're going to have a little bigger of a team after this round of interviews going. So they'll help you out with that, I'm sure. Yeah,
we've already hired, even since VeeCon, we've hired 6 to 8 people. We still have positions that we're filling, interviews that are being done. So yeah, we're growing. We're really excited about it. We're, when it's cool to look back on VeeCon and say we did that with 20 some people. But now we're really looking to, and obviously there's a lot of different things where we hire different companies for different things. We're really excited to scale and grow and really push this brand out to the masses.
I love it. And I can't thank you guys enough for all that you do, and just hats off on so many levels. So this one final question, and then I'm going to go into our last segment, is the character featured in the Mindful Minakawa skit based on any one particular member of the VeeFriends community?
It is not.
It is not. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So this last
a Robert character that pops up, don't get any ideas.
Okay. Noted. So this last segment is called micro macro spitfire. So you can give one general macro answer, yes, no, or you can zoom in and get really specific. It's totally up to you. All right, so here we go. Who is one person in the VeeFriends community that needs to be followed if you're just getting into the project?
It's Jeremy. Jeremy knows the most about VeeFriends, I would say, and puts out the most info in real time, I would say. So if you are looking to learn more about VeeFriends, then he would probably be your follow.
Favorite teacher you had growing up and one reason why?
Favorite teacher I had was my third grade teacher, Mrs. Grasso. And her and I just had like a good connection where she got my sense of humor. We could joke, but she was also a really good teacher. And our families were close, so she was my favorite.
Queen's Gambit or Stranger Things?
Queen's Gambit. I really like. I'm actually pretty into the game of chess. After watching Queen's Gambit, I got really into it. Started consuming a ton of chess content and like really teaching myself how to play chess through YouTube. I used to play online chess every day on my phone. So Queen's Gambit really like I had known chess before watching the Queen's Gambit, but it really reignited that passion.
That's awesome. I think I saw that on Twitter, which brings me to my next couple. Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Eminem or Drake?
Drake. Drake's my number one.
Got it. Oh, I just need to pause for a second because now I was thinking about your Twitter. The Tom Brady thing. So you said you're from the Northeast. You're a Pats fan?
I am a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, actually.
Oh, so you're a Brady fan because of Tampa Bay.
Because of Tampa Bay,
Interesting. Has that come up with Gary at all? Because that's like...
It hasn't. Not yet, luckily.
Does he know?
I don't think he knows that I'm a Bucs fan. I think he would be understandable once I explained to him that I've been a Bucs fan since like 2002, and like endured the miserable 15 years of not making
Gotcha. All right.
And then we got Tom Brady, this like shining light, and who leads us to the Super Bowl his first year. So for me, it was.
So you were a fan for the 2002, like you were there. You've been there for a while.
Yeah. I've always been.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but
he'd probably give you a pass. Otherwise, I don't know the VeeFriends handbook, but could be a fireable offense.
I don't think we have any Pats fans that I know of. I don't know if that's on purpose or by chance.
Gotcha. All right, back to Spitfire. The person that is the last line of defense, final cut on the VeeFriends blog is?
Final blog, May. She has, I think she's last line of defense.
Your favorite VeeFriends character, jingle, or skit to date?
I really like the Adaptable Alien, I think, is my favorite song.
Gary has blank percentage of book games mapped out.
That I am not sure.
If you had to guess, 100, 20?
It would be really hard. Like I don't know too much, to be honest. So I wouldn't even be able to give like an accurate number where, I would, yeah.
Got it. Paper Hands Pony or the koala?
I would go with the Paper Hands Pony, just knowing, or with the note that I know nothing of the plans for both of those.
Gotcha. This is all, yes. We need to make up an acronym similar to, not financial advice. Yeah. This is not VeeFriends official advice. Right. If Gratitude Gorilla or Patient Pig?
Gratitude Gorilla.
And if you had to give a rose, Gary's all about giving roses, give a rose to someone on the team or someone in the community for something that we may not know about, something that you feel like you should shine a light on, who is it and what is it for?
Yeah, it might be something that people do know about, but I would give roses to May New, my boss. She is one is like just super knowledgeable, and I learn something new from her every day, and then also just of how caring and genuine of a person that she is, and how she puts people before herself is something that's remarkable. And so yeah, she's just an overall joy to work for. And yeah, so I would definitely give my roses to her.
That's amazing. Tyler, I really can't thank you enough. Like your story is amazing, your journey, but I know you're a super busy guy, and for you, it means a lot for you to take the time to chat and to get this out into the community. And I'm just super grateful and hope to stay connected and chat real soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rob. I really appreciate you having me on. I'm really glad that we could do it. I appreciate everyone who listened in. But yeah, Rob, I really appreciate you. This was a blast. I can tell that you've done your homework and you have a natural knack for this. So yeah, thank you just for having me on, and thank you for the time.
Awesome. Appreciate it.